Okay, well this thing is just retro cool. Check this out. Look at that. It's an analog clock and a high intensity lamp. I wonder if this is actually the antenna as well. It does telescope slightly, up to about just over a foot, I'd say. Anyhow, customer brought this in, wanted me to take a look at it. The Symphonette Slumber Center. This thing's got to be from the early 70s or even maybe late 60s. I'm not even sure when they stopped using clocks like that. Well, there is the schematic on the bottom of the unit. Oh my goodness. I wish people would do that more often. Anyhow, there it is. Model LCR500 with the factory schematic. This thing is in mint condition for its age. Anyhow, let's go ahead and plug it in, power it up, and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Power on. Let's see if the clock runs. Oh my gosh, it still works. It's probably got a little AC synchronous motor in there, and it's still working after all these years. Well, next, let's go ahead and try the radio and see if the radio powers up. All right, here we go. Power on. Huh. Should be getting a station in here somewhere. Houston, I think we found the problem. Just got to go ahead and clean that mode select switch. It's probably just a double pole, double throw switch. Oh, that's definitely going to be a problem. All right, volume control has no effect whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get some Deoxit D5 into all these switches and controls and see if we can restore this thing back to life. All right, just take a look at those made in Japan capacitors. 500 microfarad, 15 volts. Some smaller Japan capacitors. Look at those transistors, especially those over on the heatsink. That must be the audio output transistors. Ferrite rod AM antenna, and it looks like they are using the lamp as the FM antenna. Power transformer. Look at that speaker. 0.5 watt, 8 ohm. Well, we'll go ahead and give it some Deoxit and see if that takes care of the problem. Deoxit D5. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and fire it back up and see if we get any better results. Oh, well, that's not good. All right, the AM does work. Selector switch works perfect at this point. Volume control is going to need to be replaced. I'm just going to have to find a suitable replacement for it. Well, let's go ahead and check and see if the little high intensity light works before I go any further. So it's a low, medium, and high switch here. Low, medium, and high. And it does work. Absolutely awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to find a replacement volume control for this customer. It's in pretty sad shape. Okay, so I went ahead and ordered a replacement volume pot right here, VR. Now the original one was a 5K, a 5,000 ohm pot. I couldn't find a replacement suitable 5K pot, so I had to go with a 1K, a 1,000 ohm pot. But I think it's going to be okay because it is actually capacitively coupled on the input, the ground, and the output. So this thing just totally floats. I'm not really worried about tonal quality on this unit. It's just a little radio. I think it's going to be absolutely fine. Now the new pot is much smaller than the old pot was, but electrically it's going to be a 1K, and it is an audio taper because this is actually controlling the audio. So you can't use a linear taper potentiometer in the circuit because the audio taper has a certain logarithmic attenuation to it. So if you try to use a linear taper pot, you will have a massive amount of audio in the beginning and almost no audio in the end as you rotate it. So there is the new pot actually sitting on top of the old pot. What a size difference. But I think it's going to go ahead and fit just fine. Let's go ahead and put it in there, solder up the leads, and make sure it works okay. Okay, so when you're taking the pot out, make sure that you have the low side and the high side marked correctly. The low side is white, the wiper is black, and the high side, as I turn this up, is yellow. So white, black, yellow is how I need to install this on my new pot. So I went ahead and drilled a small hole here because the new pot has a little keying pin right here. I'm going to go ahead and install it just like that, and it will attach the 3 leads to it. So the low side will be on the right, the high side on the left, and the wiper in the center. Okay, so I have the leads unsoldered from the old pot. Just going to go ahead and add some fresh solder. They're kind of hard to see. Very close focus at this point, but there they are. Now I'm going to go ahead and pre-tin the 3 connections on the new pot. And then we'll go ahead and add the leads to them. The low side. The wiper, and the high side. There we go. Leads are attached. Now we'll go ahead and remount the board back in place, and as I recall, I did clip the wire to the ground. We'll have to reattach that. Let me get it ready. All right, it's tinned, it's ready to go. So let's go ahead and remount the board right now. Just a couple of screws go back in it, and it's mounted up in place. Make sure those wires are tucked back under. Okay, the board is mounted back in place. Let's go ahead and flip it over, power it up, and see if the volume control works at this point. Okay, there it is, back together.
Really conservative.
I've got an AM station tuned in.
To it, and they need to follow all the proper protocol because
And it's working perfect. Let's go to FM. Look at that, working great. Volume control works absolutely perfectly now.
Songs, today's light rock. Mix 95.
There it is. I just got to put the bottom back on it and it's ready to go. All right, it's working absolutely perfectly. The volume works absolutely great now. Well, that's it. The repair on the Symphonette Slumber Center AM/FM clock radio, the analog clock radio, with a high-intensity 12-volt bulb. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below. I try to read all the comments and respond when I have time. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like this video. It really does help my channel grow. I really do appreciate it. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me NorCal715videos@gmail.com. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this video and making it to the end. I really do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.